What's going on, guys, and welcome to your NFL Week 5 recap. I am your host, Cody Russell, and joining me today will be absolutely nobody. Unfortunately, Dirty Dan was busy today, so I will be running this one solo, but we're still going to have lots of content for you, talking a little bit of NFL, recapping some games, giving some highlights, and we'll go from there. Remember, guys, if you like this content, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing with a friend, leave a comment, let us know who we can do better, let us know what you liked. Yeah, cool. Let's get into it. There's been some good games this week. A little bit of an interesting week for the NFL, but a fun one for the NFL, that's for sure. So running through the scores real quick. Thursday Night Football, we had Bears versus Commanders. Bears won 40-20. Early morning game, the Jaguars over in London beat the Bills 25-20. Saints beat the Patriots 34-0. Colts beat the Titans 23-16. Steelers beat the Ravens 17-10. The Lions beat the Panthers 42-24. We had the Texans beat the Falcons 21-19. Dolphins beat the Giants in a shocker 31-16. Bengals beat the Cardinals 34-20. Joey B looks like he's back. We got the Eagles beating the Rams 23-14. Jets beat the Broncos 31-21. And then let's see here. Chiefs beating the Vikings 27-20 in a bit of an interesting game. And the 49ers beat the Cowboys 42-10. And the Raiders beating the Packers on Monday Night Football 17-13. Interesting week for the NFL. Seems like the Bengals are back. Bit of unfortunate news. Anthony Richardson was hurt in the Colts game, but Gardner Minshew came in and looked solid. Going from there, we're going to talk 3 games today. Main focus is going to be, firstly, the Bills and the Jaguars. We're going to talk Colts, Titans. Of course, going to talk about the boys. And then finally, we'll round it off with a little bit of Jets-Broncos talk, ending it off. Maybe talk a little bit about the Chiefs, Vikings, and the Cowboys and the Niners, but we'll keep it small. Starting off, Jaguars-Bills. Interesting game over in London. Jaguars had commanded this game for all the way up until about the last 4 minutes. I believe with like 7 minutes left in the game, the Jaguars were winning 25-7 or something like that. Josh Allen managed to storm down the field, make a couple plays. But contrary to what a lot of NFL media is saying, I really do think that if this game was played in the States, both teams weren't jet lagged. I mean, the Jaguars were already in London. They had extra time to rest. They were used to the time zone. It would have been a little bit of a different outcome. I do think the Bills would have won, but they lost. Trevor Lawrence found a way. He was dominant as hell on third down. Managed to convert, whether it was third and long, third and short, doesn't matter. Found a way. As a Colts fan, don't like seeing that from a Jaguars team, but we're going in there next week, gonna have to play them. I'm curious to see what is going to happen with them. Can Trevor Lawrence really step up and become the player that he's supposed to be, or is it going to be more of the same? We'll come and find out. The Bills also lost Milano early in the game, and I believe they lost another cornerback. No, I know they lost Trey White earlier in the or last game. He's out for the season. But they also, I believe, who's the other fool they had? Can't remember. We'll move on from it. But I do think, given the situation, if this game was played stateside, both teams weren't coming, or if the Jaguars weren't staying in England, I think the Bills would have ended up beating them. But that's just my opinion. We'll never know the truth unless it comes to playoffs and we get to see them play again, which would be a fun one. Moving on, Titans Colts. Sad game. We lost Anthony Richardson. Looks like he's out 4 to 6 weeks with a grade 3 AC joint sprain. Sucks to see as a Colts fan, but if we're being honest, the man's starting to look a little injury prone, and it's nerve-wracking. I really think he needs to learn how to take a hit, learn how to fall, but that one really wasn't his fault, and that's what the scariest part is, because I think 2 out of the 3 injuries, it really was not his fault. When he took the concussion against can't remember. Maybe the Texans? Who knows? Texans, I believe it was. Got a concussion, got hurt. Didn't manage to really put together a solid game where he stays healthy the whole time. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think the main story of the day is going to be Zach Moss. What do you run? 165, 2 tuds. Dude was running all up and down, supposedly with the top 5 rushing defense in the league against the Tennessee Titans, and he was destroying them. Granted, they were missing their defensive tackle, something Tart, forget his first name, but Titans didn't look good on offense. I believe we held Derrick Henry to 43 yards, and then their backup running back, I believe we held him to something around 18-ish yards. Really what they were successful with is Tannehill playing play action, DeAndre Hopkins going up the field and catching some balls across. I mean, the Colts secondary is weak. It's very weak. Hopefully we can turn it around. I mean, we are having some injuries, but still, it was a little sad to say that we should have beat them by more, but we didn't. We won. It's all that matters. Colts got the dub. I really think we have a chance to be a prominent team in the NFL. Gardner Minshew is a valid backup. Can he continuously win a game when he is the forefront starter? TBD. We are going to the Jaguars next week, who beat us week 1. We haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014, I believe, so it's a little bit of a nerve-wracking game, but we'll see what happens. Excited to see the prospect of what the Colts have available to them, and hopefully, when it comes down to it, we're able to find a way to win that one too. Take the lead in division, go 4-2, have the Jaguars be 3-3, and move forward from there. Like I said, we should get Anthony Richardson back about 4 to 6 weeks, hopefully sooner, but realistically, I mean, with the right shoulder injury, right armed quarterback, he's not going to be back anytime soon. So, ride with Gardner. Jonathan Taylor came back. I think we only rushed for like 18 yards as well, but slowly but surely going to get him acclimated to the offense. We'll see what happens. At the end of the day, I truly do believe this, and I've said this from the beginning. Shane Steichen is an offensive genius. The dude finds a way to win no matter what. Doesn't matter who's behind the field. With Gardner Minshew being in the offense for a second year of Steichen, he was with them last year with the Eagles. I really do think that made a world of difference. But we'll see what happens. We'll go from there. Next game we're going to talk about, I want to touch on real quick, the Ravens. They had every single chance to win that game against the Steelers, and they squandered it. Lamar Jackson played well, but even still, he had major mistakes, which really cost him the game, and that is just unfortunate. For someone who's supposed to be top 5 to 7 quarterback in the league, you need to find a way to win those games, especially into the division. You got the Bengals picking up speed, finding a way to win, slowly but surely putting their season together. Steelers have a solid defense. Their offense looks a little shaky, but hell, Kenny Pickett to freaking George Pickens? Whew, that's an impressive combination. We'll see what happens there. Another quick touch point, the Falcons beating the Texans. That was a little bit of a shocker. The boy C.J. Stroud, I believe, threw for 250 yards and a touchdown, but Desmond Ridder threw almost 350 yards and 2 tuds. Wow. Especially for someone who has not been vibing on offense, not been doing well. Slowly but surely, that Atlanta Falcons team is looking really scary, especially in the NFC South. I mean, there is not a ton of competition other than the Buccaneers. Saints beat the hell out of the Patriots, but everyone's beating the hell out of the Patriots. Patriots do not look good. We'll see what happens there. Excited to see with both teams really what happens and how they develop, but do not want to see the Texans do well, for being honest, as a Colts fan. One more touching point. Now we don't touch about it. Let's go Broncos, Jets. Jets find a way to win. Nathaniel Hackett revenge game. Love to see it. Love to see it. Sean Payton was talking so much shit on this dude in the beginning of the season, saying how he was the worst coach of the worst coach team last year and they couldn't find a way to win. Well, if you look at it now, the point differential of wins is almost doubled from what it was last year. And Sean Payton, not looking like that good of a coach, to be fair. Not Vance Joseph. Is it Vance Joseph? Can't remember. The defensive coordinator. Yikes. They do not look good on defense. And they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league with Patrick Surtain II. That man is a baller. He almost clutched up the game for him because the Jets were driving down and he picked it off in the end zone, gave the Broncos a chance to win the game, and Russell Wilson fumbled the ball again. It seems pretty consistently at this point that Russell Wilson, no matter how well he plays during the game, when it comes to the end, if he needs to put together a drive to put a team away, cannot do it. It's just he doesn't have what it takes anymore. Or it really shows that Seahawks team was built around the defense, and their defense really was holding the game, and Russ was able to make plays when it was necessary. TBD to see what happens this season. They're going on to play. Who are they playing next week? They are going on to play. Do they have a bye? The Broncos have a bye next week. Never mind. So they get a. Oh no, they're playing the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. Ooh, that's tough, especially considering the fact that Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce, though he was hurt in the game, managed to come back, played well, held them in the game. We'll move on. Let's talk a little bit about that game. No, we'll talk a little bit more about the Jets. I mean, not Russell Wilson. What's his face on the other side? Zach Wilson. He's finding a way to win, man. That defense is dominant. They're finding a way to put shit together. We'll really see what happens there. But we'll move on now to the Vikings and the Chiefs. Sad day for the Chiefs, or not for the Chiefs. Sad day for the Vikings. Took an L. Jay Jettis got hurt, unfortunately. TJ Hawkinson took a hit. I don't think he got hurt, but took a little bit of a nasty hit. They had a chance to win at the end, too. They really did. They were driving down the field. Kirk Cousins was putting plays together play after play after play. But at the end of the day, could not get it done. Chiefs win. Chiefs always find a way to win. I'm curious to see what's going to happen against the Broncos. I really do think that could be a squander game for next week, but we'll see what happens. Excited to see how it goes. Gotta talk a little bit about the Cowboys and the 49ers. I still am not convinced that Brock Purdy is top 10 in the league, but he's definitely in the top half, that's for sure. Top half, top 16 of the quarterbacks, top 15 for sure. Can he be a premier name in this league? That's another TBD statement. To be honest, the man is good. He's very good. He's shown that he knows what to do. But is it more that the 49ers are so good that they were able to get the win, or the Cowboys are so bad? I mean, they looked god awful. Unless they get a lead, that team cannot put drives together. They're not able to be efficient. And they struggle. Unless they play shit teams, they are not playing well. And it's been consistently that way from the beginning of the season. Cowboys are going on to play the Chargers on Monday Night Football next week. That is the definition of yikes versus yikes. Especially playing at Chargers. Doesn't matter what team plays there when it comes to playing the Chargers. It's probably going to be a 50-50 stadium. Knowing how LA is when it comes to Cowboys fans, maybe even 75-25 Cowboys. This could be a Cowboys home game. Can they win, though, against a good team? Because really, at the end of the day, Brandon Staley, head coach for the Chargers, is the one messing them up. Justin Herbert, he's a genius when it comes to quarterback. He's built to play the position. He can scramble when he needs to. He's had an IQ that is way above most quarterbacks in the NFL. So we'll see what happens. Excited to see what happens for that game, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a barn burner, if I'm being honest. Chargers are probably going to drive up. I take that back. Might be a little bit of a slower game, to be honest. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for that game. Should be a good one next week. Raiders, Packers. I mean, shit. That was... Jordan Love ain't it, man. Jordan Love ain't it. Hopefully, he can develop into, a solid he's not going to be a premier quarterback in this league. It's just not going to happen. He has flashes, but honestly, the passes that he was completing that were really spectacular, the dude was wide open. So if you're not not throwing those contested catches and making solid throws in those catches, I don't really see too much future in the NFL for you. But we'll see what happens. Let's be honest here. There is Patriots. There's like 4 or 5 teams in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes for next year. I'm curious to see what happens with the Patriots if they can turn it around. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, but we'll see. I do know we play them in Germany later on, I believe week 10. So hopefully we can get an easy dub there, but we'll see what happens. That might even be the game Andrew Richardson returns from. Ooh, looking forward to that one. Interesting week for the NFL. Colts are tied in the division, which is lovely to see. I believe Chiefs are ahead in their division. Steelers, I believe, are winning their division, but just barely because the Browns didn't play this week. It's going to be a fun rest of the season. I'm really curious. A lot of good college football, too. If you guys aren't watching college football, highly recommend getting into it. There has been great games every single week. I mean, shit, we had Texas, Oklahoma in a great game. Oklahoma winning 34-30. We had that Arizona USC game. My God, that was a fun one. Even Bama, Texas A&M. I mean, SEC South rivalry. That was an impressive game to watch. Bama found a way to win. Roll Tide, baby. Moving on. Next week, let's see. Game of the week. Huh. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I'm biased in this sense, but the Colts Jaguars should be a great game. Obviously, playing in Jacksonville, Colts haven't won there since 2014. We'll see what happens. The Ravens Titans, I think, might be my pick for the game of the week. It's either that or there are a lot of ugly games next week, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I think Ravens Titans would have to be my pick. It's going to be force versus force. Both Harbaugh, Vrabel, they're hard-nosed, defensive-minded coaches who have a solid firepower in the offense. I mean, Derrick Henry, obviously a beast. That other fool that they had, number 32 at running back, I forget his name, but he's a rookie. Dude was balling. They also got DeAndre Hopkins. Ryan Tannehill finds a way in the play action game to get plays, and if he doesn't, he'll take off with his legs. The dude is shifty, and no one expects it. But then there's Lamar Jackson and that Ravens defense, which is insanely nasty. But Lamar needs help at wide receiver. Zay Flowers just can't hold him down as being a solid receiver. He's still a rookie. Needs time to develop. OBJ still hasn't played, unsurprisingly, been hurt. But I think that's going to end up being the game of the week. Other than maybe the Chargers Cowboys. I mean, of course, like I said, probably going to be a Cowboys home game. But we'll see what happens. Oh, upset of the week. Upset of the week. It's a tough one. That is a tough one. Like I said, there's just not a lot of good games. Maybe Cardinals over Rams, but even then, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising. Josh Dobbs has shown he's a competent quarterback when it comes to the NFL. You know what actually might be a great game is the Falcons and the Commanders next week. Commanders coming off a devastating loss on Thursday Night Football. I believe I picked it as my upset last week for them to lose to the Bears. So I think they're going to come back a little bit of force. Sam Howell's going to show what he's got to show. But that the Falcons got some firepower on offense. Desmond Ridder got something to show. They got Kyle Pitts, solid tight end, and then Bijan Robinson, who didn't have that great of a game, but you never know when he's going to bust one open. It's always possible. So we'll see what happens. But do I want to call Broncos Chiefs as the upset? Broncos upsetting the Chiefs at Arrowhead? Do I want to say it? Hell no, probably not going to happen. That's a bad pick, man. I don't see an upset. I don't see a crazy upset here on the board this week. I think all teams are going to be expected to win, or I mean, most games are going to be close. Otherwise, there's not a team where I could say, yeah, they're going to beat them. Maybe Bears over Vikings. Maybe. It's a tough one. Let's see. Bears are favored, or no, Vikings are favored by 4.5. With Jay Jettas hurt, okay, I'm calling it right now. With the Vikings favored by 4.5, Bears are going to upset the Vikings. Sorry, Dirty Dan, in a slobber knocker. Let's call it 30-21. That's gonna be my pick of the week for the upset. Boys, this is gonna be a quick. I shouldn't even say boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, people of all ages. Again, if you guys like our content, please consider subscribing. It's going to be a little bit more of a short one today without the co-host. Me talking to a mic all day. Nobody needs to hear that for a long ass time, but we'll cut it here. If you enjoyed, again, please consider liking and subscribing. Hit that notification bell. We are trying to grow, become a better podcast. If you have a critique, if you have some shit you want to say, hell, if you even want to try to come on the podcast and give us some of your advice, your thoughts, hit me up. Hit us up on the Greenzone at the Greenzone Pod on Instagram. You can hit us up on the email at the Greenzone Pod, or not at the Greenzone Pod at gmail.com. Let us know. Give us your thoughts, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in.